Today I'm talking about Eau Sauvage Parfum 2017, this one right here. I'm at the very end of my 2012 Eau Sauvage Parfum, so I figured out a way to get a bottle thanks to some friends who were coming back from Europe. So I have it and I'm going to compare these two together for you, as this one's almost finished and they're not selling it much online anywhere, but this one is available but not readily available here in the States. So I'll compare these two for you. All coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time on this channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So this is a fragrance I bought back in 2013. That was my very first, I hadn't even been reviewing fragrances on YouTube for a whole year, is when this was a fragrance I bought. Early 2013, and it was launched in 2012, and it was such a great release. I love this one, and I wore a lot of it. This is my second bottle. This is a really large bottle, as you can see. It is a 150 ml bottle, actually. Same with this one, right here. So the juice color is also a little, this one's a little darker, and this one's a little lighter, as you can see. So they're definitely different, but I love this one. It's a great interpretation of Eau Sauvage, the original from the 60s. What they've done here is amplified the bergamot note, myrrh note, and also the vetiver note. So they've taken those notes that are in the original Eau Sauvage and just bumped it up, made them more intense. So it's an intense version of Eau Sauvage, more darker, because the resin note comes off very dark, but this is also very creamy to me. The resin note, the myrrh note, just makes it creamy. Now I don't know if those are the only notes that are in here. According to Fragrantica, it's about bergamot, myrrh, and vetiver. So I'm not really 100% sure if that's correct, because that's what's on Fragrantica. And according to Fragrantica also, myrrh is like the dominant note, like it's the main note, with bergamot and vetiver. Vetiver comes in second according to the ratings there. So I can never be 100% sure, but these designers usually do not post a lot about their notes, so I kind of have to rely on the databases. But I do pick up the resin, the myrrh resin, and it is definitely creamy, and that's what I love about this one. It's this big, bold, extremely intense parfum version of Eau Sauvage. Not EDP, but parfum, meaning the most concentrated oils, the most strongest version of a perfume you can have according to the perfume guidelines. So it's awesome. It's one of the best designer releases, and the trio of parfum versions of popular Dior fragrances that I love are this one, Eau Sauvage Parfum. There's Fahrenheit Le Parfum, and then of course Dior Eau Parfum. Those three are amazing designer fragrances. If you don't know them and you can still get them, because I have this feeling that Dior Eau Parfum is discontinued, and I've also heard rumors about Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Maybe they're going to come out with new versions, I don't know. But in those trio, this came the first. This came out in 2012. Then Fahrenheit Le Parfum came out in 2014, and then 2015? Yeah, maybe 2014 or 2015. I can't remember exactly when, but I think maybe it was 2015 is when Dior Eau Parfum came out. So maybe they're gonna redo new versions of them, I'm not really sure. But let's go back to this version. This is the new version, not readily available, unfortunately, so maybe eBay sells it, or you can buy some decants or things like that from decant or the sample places. But I had to have it finally because this is running out, and this one is a replacement for it. I guess I can find some bottles of this somewhere, but I was looking on FragranceNet and places like that, none of them had it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for the new version. I've been trying to do it anyway, so here we are. So as you can see, the bottle and design is a little different, and the color of the juice is a little different, as I was mentioning earlier. And of course the label, as you can see, the label, they have silver here now. This is actually more similar, going back to the original Eau Sauvage. And this one is the dark. When I first bought this bottle, when it came in, I thought the presentation was amazing. black box, black internal like material that they put into you know, hold the bottle. I thought it was just out of this world classy. One of the best designer bottles that I had bought back then in 2013. But here we have with this one, but this one has a lot of different notes. And the price range is about 100 euro. Well, no, this was a larger size. So I think the price range was around 120 euros, maybe 130 euros, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly because I think it was brought back from duty free, so there was no tax on this. So this is 2017, and here they've changed things around a little bit. So we've got top notes here of Citron, Bergamot, and Lavender. In the middle notes or the heart notes you have Vetiver, and in the base notes you have Elemi Resin. So different notes, they've removed the Myrrh and added Elemi. Now I don't know how true these notes are with these designers. Are they just saying things or making things up? Because it does smell similar to this, although there are nuances of the citrus or citron here. It is citrusier, it's not as dense as this one. So there's that difference. But they do smell similar. So if this had Myrrh, now we have Elemi resin. They are both resins, but they're completely different. So if you know much about resins and you know if designers just make things up, do put a comment down and let us know, because it's a bit confusing. Why would it go from having Myrrh to having Elemi with the two? Unless Fragrantica is completely wrong with the notes, then that's a different story, but that's the difference. But here what we have is not so concentrated, not so dense, still smells like this, but there's this citrus touch to it, so it doesn't come off as heavy and weighty as this one comes off. This one comes off lighter, less dense, but still smells quite close to this as well. So that's the difference in it. I guess they've decided to not make parfums so intense anymore. Maybe people complained about it. I don't know why they would do that. Like they're going backwards when they make this like really excellent release. I thought the Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum from 2012 was amazing. It was a great designer release. Why would they go backwards? Perhaps the whole IFRA thing comes up all the time, and there's regulations and things like that with the fragrances, so they have to redo it. So maybe that's why this one was reformulated to a new 2017 version. I can't tell, but sometimes designers also just reformulate things and still release it in their, you know, whatever bottles and packaging they had. But this one also has different packaging, whereas the other one had black, completely black packaging. This one is white, so it's going back to looking a little bit like the original Eau Sauvage. It does say Parfum on it, as you can see, but other than that, it's white. So there's those differences. So maybe they just thought, okay, let's just redo the whole thing, since we do have to probably remove some notes because we can't use them anymore. But I tell you, it smells very close. I'm going to do a quick comparison side by side here on two different strips, and let you know a little more. But what I'm experiencing is that citrusy touch. The citron note is pretty prominent in the new version compared to the old version. Immediately this goes, the old version immediately goes deep and rich, but this one's a lot more brighter. The citrus notes just at the top kind of make it like a little more accepting or inviting, whereas this is like really intense, which I like about it. Really lovely intense. But once you get past that citrus, you start picking up more similarities. But I think also the Vetiver is also pretty bigger here as well. The lavender doesn't stand out as much, but I do pick it up. It's really in the back. Light touches of the lavender come through. But this one's all about that myrrh. It's very creamy, it's a good one. It's really a good one. It's a bummer that they've done this with this, but it's just the way life is with fragrances. As long as we have those restrictions from companies and, you know, brands, designers, and companies who want to sell fragrances in Europe want to release, you know, sell fragrances in Europe, they have to abide by those restrictions. And unfortunately, when they come up, then you'll have to reformulate your fragrances and yada yada. So that's the bummer side of it. But that's the new Eau Sauvage Parfum from 2017. This came out last year. I'm finally having it in my collection, And I do enjoy it. It's just not as intense as, it's just not as potent and intense as the previous version, which is a bummer. But then again, we don't really need that much intensity in our lives with fragrances, do we? Do you guys prefer more intense fragrances, or are you fine with something that smells great but not so potent? Let me know that thought also. And if you've compared these two fragrances, which one do you like better? Do you like the 2017 version or the 2012 version? Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Other than that, guys, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.